So the federal government is going to try to achieve something that parents and teachers have failed to do for years. They think they can stop kids using social media. Good luck with that. But of course the state can fix everything, folks. Just ask your local neighbourhood Marxist. As usual, they'll impose this restriction on liberty in the name of keeping us safe and healthy. Tyranny always comes dressed in kindness and niceness. The Prime Minister said his main concern is the mental health of our kids. And who could argue with that? Nobody, of course. Not even our federal opposition that doesn't do much oppositioning these days, it seems.
The Coalition announced in June our plan to stop young children from gaining access to harmful social media content. The Prime Minister has been incapable of taking action on this important issue for months. Yesterday, Premier Malinowskis said he'd had enough of waiting for the Prime Minister to make a decision. Now, today, in a rushed and ham-fisted way, the government has made a partial announcement of a policy without detail. Why is the Albanese government hopeless at everything?
Order. Members on my right.
The trial of age verification technology to make sure that we actually get this right. You need to trial the technology. This is something that has been a scourge of young people in particular throughout the Western world. It is something that governments are grappling with throughout the Western world.
Yes, and if you believe that governments, not parents and teachers, should be raising your kids, that would concern you. That clip from the Guardian newspaper's YouTube channel. But the reason governments are grappling with this is that government really shouldn't be centrally censoring social media. Parents should be.
This is about giving children a childhood and giving parents peace of mind.
Oh, of course it is. It's got nothing to do with giving the state more control and parents less and government bureaucrats more access to our kids. Nothing to do with that at all. And don't expect the Liberal National Coalition to push back on any of this. They're very happy to see your rights being further eroded. The Uni Party is on fire at the moment. One of Peter Dutton's biggest image issues is the perception that while he is a stronger conservative and economics free market defender than most of the centre-left who've infiltrated the Liberal Party, he is seen as a bit of a big state authoritarian who's a little too fond of surveillance and using technology to spy on the people. Many social media commentators say it's the ex-copper in him. It would be wise for Mr Dutton to stop supporting the eSafety Commissioner, Julie Inman Grant, and create a strong differentiation for himself on the issues of privacy and abuse of technology by Big Brother government and corporations that so deeply concern so many Australians right now. But a slight majority of Australians love the nanny state. Polling from YouGov and the ABC shows support for an age-based social media ban is running at 61%. Having never lived under the truly bad government systems so many other people in the world have had to live under, most Australians see government as a force for good. And we love being taken care of by mummy and daddy in Canberra. Our country is run more like a high school than a liberal democratic nation of free-thinking and acting independent adults. Sorry guys, but it is true, and it just slowly keeps getting worse and worse. We seem to love government control. Here's one of my favourite American comedians, John Funches, on that one.
Now there's just certain people I have no time for. Like if you're sexist or homophobic, or if you don't believe in conspiracy theories. Just don't understand, how do you not believe in any conspiracy theories? I understand not all of them, not most of them, but you don't believe in any conspiracy theory? You just think the government's just batting 1,000 and telling us the whole truth? That's a strong stance to take.
That's Ron Funches, sorry, not John. I think I said John, on Comedy Central. Anyway, back to the story. Laws will be introduced to Parliament later this year before the next election, and they will very likely have bipartisan support. The Liberals are all for this stuff, so you get no choice, folks, unless you vote for One Nation or the Libertarians. The new legislation follows a report by former High Court Chief Justice Robert French on exactly how to do this ban. That report was commissioned by the South Australian Labor state government because both Victoria and South Australia already want to bring in similar laws at a state level. The report was released last Sunday and it contains draft legislation for banning kids under 14 from social media completely and requiring parental consent for 14 and 15-year-olds. So this is happening. Okay. So banning teenagers from woke corporate and communist brainwashing and porn pimps can't be too bad a thing, right? Well, the problem is that this sets the stage for something deeper and more sinister. The popular Substack page, Dystopian Down Under, reports all of this is tied in with the age verification roadmap, which in turn is tied in with Australia's recently legislated digital ID framework. The government is spending almost $300 million on that between now and 2028. Can you see where all this might be heading? No social media privacy whatsoever. Everything you say and do online tagged to your ID number. A government utopia of information control. The e-safety mob have already told the social media industry that they have until the end of this year to propose new industry codes that'll be enforceable by e-safety to limit children's access to inappropriate content online. Okay, so long as that's where it stops. My problem is we never hear Julie Inman Grant and her e-safety posse talk about how they're going to regulate themselves from potential overreach into our privacy and civil liberties while they're working to ban all the bad stuff. And I find that attitude very troubling. On another point, Dystopian Down Under also reports that some experts say that banning kids' access to social media will cause unintended harms. Dr. Dana McKay of RMIT University says that social media is one of the only public spaces where some children can communicate directly with their friends, often maintaining connections with distant friends and loved ones that would otherwise be impossible. And as the dad of expat kids, I can tell you this is very important. We live in a more globalised world than we did even 20 years ago. Dr. McKay says instead of banning kids from social media completely, the focus should be on making the social media more safe. Did you know that for roughly every 2 nurses in Australia working hard to save lives and take care of the sick on the front line, there's 1 taxpayer-funded bureaucrat sitting behind a desk doing admin and making and enforcing rules and regulations? That's right, nearly 1 bureaucrat for every 2 frontline nurses. In most countries, it's 1 bureaucrat for 10 frontline nurses. That's how bloated our public services become. But you'll never hear about it from the regular nurses' unions because they also represent many of those public servants. So says the leading alternative nurses union in Australia, the NPAA. If you're a nurse, it's time to change to a union that will not only look after you without using your money to support the Labor Party, but which is taking on the government health systems to sidestep the bureaucrats and use the savings to pay all nurses 25% more. That's what they want to do. The current waste has got to stop. All the red tape doesn't just suck up resources and time, it actually means that the nurses left on the front line have got to jump through more hoops and it stops them from being able to do their jobs properly. Admin is a hindrance. So join the union that will actually stand up against bloated government. Join the NPAA, the Nurses Professional Association, will make hospitals locally autonomous and run by elected boards. To find out more, just Google NPAA. The NPAA's fees are half the price because none of your money goes to any political party. And as an Other Side viewer, if you use our special code OTHERSIDE1 when you sign up, you will get the first 3 months free or $100 off your annual payment. Go to npaaredunion.com and sign up now for a better union and support the other side too by supporting our sponsors. Thank you, nurses, you legends. If you like that clip, there's more where that came from in our full show, The Other Side. You can watch it right here, the latest episode. And please subscribe to our channel by pressing the subscribe button right here or down here. And remember to click that notification bell too. It all helps. Join us and become part of The Other Side.